Former flat earthers. What made you come round? Had to travel to Japan, gave up on my beliefs in order to make a shorter trip. I was debating a flat earther in Mexico, and I asked him about how GPS worked if there were no satellites. He said that they had devices in the ground to route you. I told him the Mexican government is barely able to put decent water pipes in the ground. Would he really think they had the tech to put routing devices in the ground? He chuckled with a 1,000-mile gaze. I mean, with all the money go to routing devices in the ground, no wonder there is no money left. Shit, he's got a point. Lol, thankfully they can't put together any sort of real debate to save their lives. This is a funny sort of trump card that doesn't really make sense, but in the moment I'd maybe be taken aback and have to concede I don't believe it, but if that's what they believe I can't honestly dispute it. This is why arguing in good faith sucks, haha. Same with anti-vaxxers. When logic gets in their way, they just call me a sheep and run away. A serious answer here, the thing that made me stop was just the question, why would NASA lie to you? This a solid point, there's no way 70,000 scientists could keep it a secret. Edit, since this is getting tons of replies and a lot are addressing the Manhattan Project, I'll address it here. Yes, they did a great job at keeping it a secret while it was happening, but it inevitably came out. My point is addressing that this secret would be impossible to continue to stay secret, especially during the current information age. That's the biggest reason for me to not believe so many conspiracy theories, especially major ones like a flat earth. We know how often things leak about everything, and suddenly a collection of tens of thousands of people are all gonna keep this one big secret. Flat earth is absolutely shit tier. It not only fails on the level you described, but also, why? Why pretend the shape of the earth is different than it is? When does someone convene a high-level meeting to circulate that idea? Why pretend the shape of the earth is different than it is? Because the people that believe it get quickly funneled into dark propaganda. I never thought of this. It really is like a litmus test for gullible folks. If I was starting a cult, I'd start recruitment with flat earthers. Flat eartherism is the king granddaddy of all conspiracy theories. Just think about it, in order to really believe that the earth is actually flat, you have to also be willing to go along with nearly every other major conspiracy out there. Shadow governments, the Illuminati, lies from big tech, NASA, all scientists everywhere, and on and on. Flat earthers will believe basically anything. Yeah, it's pretty much a sign that your mind is free real estate. You don't even need to be broken down, you've broken off from consensus reality. Pretty sad, honestly. Quote I got from somewhere. For 5 years I believed the earth was flat, then I turned 6. Eli 5. You'll understand when you're older. Just realize that response applies to almost all Eli 5s. Kyrie Irving hasn't been doing press conferences. Man's just disappeared from the court like he fell off the disc. He be wishing the earth was round now. Nah man. He wants to hide in the corners. If the earth is round, he'll eventually be found. If someone starts as a round earther and then converts to being a flat earther and then goes back to being a round earther, would you say they've come full circle? Once they've realized their mistake, I'd say they're really on the ball. Though I imagine flat earthers would say they're the level-headed ones. They'd say that, but really they're afraid. People fear what they don't understand. Not me, but got a flat earther to question his beliefs, and hopefully critically analyze them, by giving him the proof he asked for, to which he responded mainstream science and media are lies. I asked why he asked for proof if he could just disregard it as lies either way, then told him that since he required no proof, or evidence against, to believe something, it made him the easiest person to deceive, and then it seemed pretty sheep-like to me. He deleted all of his flat earth comments and hasn't posted about it since. Hashtag X200B, Ada, Holy Round Earth, Batman. Thank you for the karma and awards and go old. I promise I'll screenshot next time. Ada 2, he didn't block me, I can still see everything he posted, and the op thread creator also said the comment disappeared. Shame. 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 He probably didn't change his opinion, but he did become ashamed of it, which is a good start. I was tired of living life on the edge. I've been to the edge and I've been to the edge, yes, I've been to the edge, I've been to the edge. And God knows if I've looked down, look down. I've been to the edge. Where have you been? Didn't quite get that. The edge. In the famous words of Lady Gaga, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. I convinced a flat earther, temporarily, by asking him if it was possible for a sphere to be so large that you could not tell it was a sphere by simply being on the surface of it. It took him a while. I used an analogy of an extremely long line that was so slightly curved you could not tell so by looking at a small section of it. Eventually he said yes to the sphere and I told him that was how big the Earth is. A few days later he reverted. Most of these people aren't mentally stable, they believe in a lot of conspiracies. Edit, corny edit, but as connoisseur of flat Earth content my personal favorite is Professor Dave on YouTube. He is an underappreciated dude who just had a science channel on YouTube and got brigaded by flat earthers for an unrelated video. He made like 6 video responses in total just owning these guys, but they eventually gave up. Check it out. Okay, I get the question is funny and all, but I actually did believe, for a time, that the Earth was flat. I was raised in a very religious family, and basically came to the conclusion that the Bible declared the Earth was flat, because since I believed the Earth was created in 7 days, the idea that God set the stars in the sky in one day made much more sense if the stars were simply points of light in a sort of snow globe formation extrapolated onto a bigger scale. Otherwise, he took one day out of the 7 to make a septillion or so balls of flaming gas, all with their own planets, and set each one into galaxies before breaking for lunch. It just didn't make sense to me that he would spend 5 days on one planet, and make the creation of the trillions of other stuff in the universe a little footnote. I was confronted about this belief a couple times, only one of which wasn't laughed off. That single person who engaged started a serious discussion, presenting much more evidence for the globe Earth, and eventually told me to watch Carl Sagan. The Cosmos series was on YouTube, and once I watched it, I had to know more. Finally, a video from the channel Minute of Physics convinced me, in no uncertain terms, that the Earth was round. All it took was one quote, which I still remember leaving chills down my spine. You should have put a serious tag on this question. I read it to the end before I commented, bud, don't fret. The Mobius strip earthers had more compelling arguments. No, there would be no need for argument since we're all on the same side. Yeah, you really need to use the serious tag. People on here are idiots lol. This obviously isn't a serious post. Come round, this post is an invitation for bad puns. Yeah, I feel like the center of the Venn diagram for flat earthers and Reddit browsers is really, really small. I tried to convince others that the Earth is a circle, but they wouldn't listen. It's pointless. I watched a documentary about flat earthers called Truth Behind the Curve, and my analysis from watching that these flat earthers are a group of people who found a community to be a part of. It's a shame their community is based on a lie, but I saw a bunch of people who were to be part of a community. Most of the people were social awkward and whatnot, and so an opportunity to be an influential figure within the community, so they double down on their flawed logic. The more against you are of them, the harder they rep their flatness. TLDR, I see flat earthers as a group of lonely people looking for a community that will accept them. Edit, WTF, did not expect this comment to blow up. Thanks for the silver and the dialogue everyone. They actually did an experiment, and that if they got one result, the Earth was flat; if they got the other, it was round. Experiment showed that the Earth is drumroll round. They claimed it was human error that caused the wrong result. They also spent $20,000 on a very precise gyroscope. Of course it showed a 15-degree-per-hour drift, thus proving the spherical Earth. They didn't accept this result and blamed it on picking up the rotation of the heavens. So they did another experiment with the gyroscope in a zero-Gauss chamber so that the sky wouldn't affect it. Same result. And they still claim something else must have been wrong. There is nothing that will convince these people. At least these deeper entrenched bigger name people are too far in, and can't ever leave their group that they are so tied to. I also believe a lot of the higher up people absolutely do not believe the Earth is flat and are just grifting people for the money.